Good day to you, everyone. This is Biology in Integrated Science, STI 321, and today we shall be looking at excretory system and sense organs. I will start from excretory system. Excretory system is actually made up of organs that are responsible for the removal of waste products from the body of an organism. That is, we say that excretory system is made up of organs and its responsibility is to remove waste products from the body of an organism. So, if these waste products are not removed from the body of an organism, the waste products will constitute or they become toxins. That is, they will become substances that are toxic, that are toxic, that are poisonous. Let me use that word to the body. So they had to be removed. So systematically, naturally within the body, we have a way by which these waste products, these toxins are removed from the body, and the name of the system is referred to as the excretory system. Like I said, it's made up of organs that come together, work together to remove substances that are not needed in the body. In some organisms, it's not a excretory system. We have excretory structure, that is just a structure that is responsible for the removal of this waste products. So invariably, the excretory, it could be excretory system or excretory organ. So it depends on the complexity of the organism. Now we're going to look at few examples of excretory structure before we excretory structures and the excretory structures and the animals or group of animals that use them, and the excretory system. So I'm starting from the contracted vacuoles. The contracted vacuole or vacuoles are excretory structures for excretory structures being used by protozoans. Protozoans are animals with one cell, that is unicellular organism. Now we also have cells like flame cells that is being used in a flatworms like planaria. The flame cells consist of two tubules, and these two tubules are led outside by the side, led outside to the outside of the body of the organism in a small pore, and that is how the waste products are removed from the body. Then aside the flat cells, we also have aside the flame cells that are present in flatworms, we also have another one that is referred to as nephridia. Nephridia is the excretory structure of annelids and some other invertebrates. Example of organism that uses nephridia is earthworm. Nephridia for plural, and we have nephridium for singular. A nephridia is always is always in a pair, like a pair of tubule that is always present on each segment. It's also laid outside. In mollusk, the excretory structure is a renal gland. In insects, the excretory structure is Malpighian tubules, and kidney is the excretory structure that is used in organisms like birds, reptiles, and amphibians. Then we now have an excretory system in mammals. Now, for the point of emphasis in this course, I told you that because it is biology in integrated science, we're going to lay more emphasis on the part of animals with particular interest in man. So we'll be looking at excretory system in mammals. And when we talk about excretory system in mammals, when we talk about mammals, we're talking about the group of animals that are referred to or classified as a mammalia, with man inclusive. So when we look at the excretory system in mammals, it is made up of kidneys, which is a bean-shaped structure or organ. That is, the kidney looks like or has bean shaped, and it is located at each side of the vertebral column towards the front, that is in the, maybe we say that the abdominal region. This kidney contains what we refer to as the nephrons, the glomerulus. These ones are responsible for filtering. They have to filter, blood gets to the kidney, and it's a blood containing, because You know, blood carries, like when we did the circulatory system, blood is the medium of transportation in the body that carries substances in our body from one part of the body to the other. So the blood contains toxins, it contains poisonous substances, it contains waste products that are not useful in the body, like urea, like water. When we say water, excess water in the body, like salt. So the blood will carry this all these ones to the kidney. So when it gets to the kidney, we have some parts of the kidney that are referred to as nephrons, as the glomerulus. So these ones are responsible for excuse me, for filtering, that is for filtering the blood, that is they will filter out the waste products so that the waste products will be removed by the kidney, and the remaining parts, the remaining fluid that is blood will now move back or stay back in the body. That is one of the reasons why kidney is referred to as an important organ in the body. Now, after the kidneys, as part of the organs of the excretory system in mammals, we have the ureter. Ureter is a narrow tube that normally carries when the waste products have been filtered. So this waste products, especially in mammals like urine, will be carried from the kidney down to the urinary bladder. Then urinary bladder is like a sac. It is muscular in nature. When we say something is muscular in nature, that is, it has muscles. Then another thing is that it has the ability to expand. So it is elastic in nature. So what happens is that as urine moves in there from the kidney through the ureter, it continues to store this urine and some other waste products that comes through that place. It continues to store it, and as it stores it, it becomes elastic. That is, it becomes bigger and bigger until after some time, when the message will be passed to the brain that it has reached its elasticity level, that urine has to be removed from the body. Then we also have the ureter. The ureter carries the urine out of the body from the bladder. Now, I want to show you a simple, that's a simple structure, a simple diagram of the excretory system in mammals. The excretory system is also referred to as the urinary system. You will see, if you look at it there, you will see the two kidneys that have been shaped, and the left side, the kidney on the left hand side is a bit more protruded up. That is, it's like it is a bit higher than the right hand side. Then we can see the ureter. Now, before the ureter, you can see what we refer to as the renal vein and the renal artery. The renal vein and the renal artery, those are the ones that this centered ones, the two ones that are lying side by side, they are blood vessels. They are the main blood vessels of the body. And so the renal artery and the renal veins, like we said, the renal artery and the renal vein, they are blood vessels that carry blood away and to the heart, while the renal artery carries blood to the kidney. The renal vein carries blood away from the kidney. So while the blood comes with waste products, after the waste products have been removed, the blood has to go back, that is, has to leave the kidney back into the body. So from the kidney, we have the ureter. The ureter are, those tubes, one moving from the kidney down to the bag, that is the urinary bladder. The urinary bladder is like a bag, and it stores the urine for some time. Then you have the urethra. Like I said, the urethra is the tube that is used to empty the urine from the body. Now, another one that we're going to look at the sense organs. When we say sense organ, we are talking about the organs in the body that are responsible for perceiving the senses. That is the organs in the body that receives or respond to external stimuli from or in organisms. That is, for example, maybe if a sound is created by your side, there is an organ in the body that is responsible for interpreting or for collecting the sound and sending it to wherever it will be interpreted in the body. So these organs, we say that they respond to stimuli. They what happened is what we refer to as a stimulus for singular and stimuli for plural. That is what happened, like if a sound is made, like one that's just been made at my side here, or maybe there is somebody pinch you with a pin. That is an external stimulus. So we have organs in the body that responds to this. And so when we talk about these organs, like I said, we're going to look at the sense organs in animals. Now, just like with particular reference to mammals, just like I said in the excretory, while we're looking at the excretory system, you see that when we look at the excretory system, I didn't mention it that yes, this is what we have, or the excretory system or the excretory structure in a plants. This is because plants don't have specific excretory structure or organ. What happens in plants is that we have just an exchange or removal of waste products by diffusion from or through the openings, either through the stomata or through the lenticel. So that's just what happens. So in the case of these ones too, though they receive senses, but their own is not like in the case of animals. So in mammals, we have organs that perceive the environment, and these organs are referred to as a sense organs. We have like I have 5 of them that I've listed here: the eyes or eye, the ears or hair, the nose, the tongue, and the skin. So we're going to look at each of them briefly. I'm looking at the eye as the first one here. The eye is also referred to as the organ of sight. That is, it is the organ that receives or that perceives or that receives a stimuli that can be seen, and it sends it inside. So it is referred to as organ of sight, and it is visual sensory organ. That is organ that receives something that could be seen physically. It's actually composed of some other parts, like it's composed of the iris, the pupil, the lens. The lens is, I know you have seen lens before, especially in physics. The lens is the one that actually collects the information of the image or of the object. We also have the cornea, we have the conjunctiva, we have the retina. Retina contains cells that are referred to as photoreceptor cells. These photoreceptor cells, they are the ones that receive the colors of the image. They're able to receive the colors of the image, whether it is red, it is white, it is black. Then we have the part of the eye that is referred to as vitreous. Then we have the optic nerve. The optic nerve, the main function of the optic nerves is that after the image has been captured, by this lens, it will now move inside. It will pass through, it will pass through the cornea, the conjunctiva, and all these ones. Now pass through the retina to pick the color by the photoreceptor cells. Now it will be passed on or picked by the optic nerves. The optic nerves are the ones that transfer the information of the image to the brain, and from there the information will now be be transferred back. That is, when the information is interpreted, it will now come back to to that part of the eye, which will take back the information, and it will be able to say, yes, this is what you have been able to see. Then I've been able to put here a sketch or a simple diagram of the next sense organ that we'll be looking at, and that is hair. When you look at the hair is divided into three. We have the outer hair, we have the middle hair, we have the inner hair. The outer hair is cartilaginous. Is that one that we normally see outside, especially in man. We have some that don't have the outer hair being as big as our hole. Then you have the the middle hair, which is like a passage up to, like what we call the eardrum. Then we have the inner hair. The inner hair is actually made up of the what we refer to as the cochlea, and the most important thing that we have in the inner hair is the auditory nerve. The auditory nerve transfers the information of the sound that comes into our hair into the brain. It transfers the information there, and when the information gets to the brain now interprets it, and we're able to to understand what we have had. Now, like I said the hair is made up of the outer hair, the middle hair, and the inner hair. The outer hair is actually cartilaginous, like I've told you. It's being referred or composed of the pinna, that is that big one that is outside that we can see on our head. That is the pinna. The pinna contains it collects the sand waves, and as it collects it, it directs it inside into the hair canal. Then we also have, as part of the outer hair, we have what we refer to as the external auditory meatus. Well, external auditory meatus is a tube that carries the sand. The pinna directs the sand into the hair, while the external auditory meatus, which is also referred to as the tympanic membrane, now carries the sound waves from the pinna down to the eardrum. The eardrum is usually a thin membrane. It's a thin membrane that separates the outer hair from the middle hair. The eardrum is usually a very thin membrane. I don't know how many of you have seen a speaker before. The big speaker that they normally use in a fence, or maybe the one that I think they are the same, being used by musicians, maybe when they are playing on the stage or whatever. You discover, or maybe when they are playing particular music at a place, you discover that at a particular time, when the echo is very high, you see the speaker, that thing, something that is covering the speaker, is as if it's moving. It's not moving, but it's vibrating. So that's what happens to the eardrum when the sound that enters is too close or is too high. Most times when it is too close, it becomes very high for that membrane, so it begins to vibrate. That is the eardrum. Is very, very thin, and that is why in most cases I normally advise, and at this point when I get here, I normally tell my students that the earpiece is not available. It's not advisable to be using earpiece, especially for those that use it regularly, because what is happening is that you are moving the sound waves very close to the eardrum, and the eardrum is a thin membrane. Anything can happen to it. It can even be damaged. So when it becomes damaged, it will not be able to perform its duty very well. For example, it will not be able to control the movement of the sound wave. So it may lead to ear sickness. Then we have the middle hair. The middle hair contains the tympanic cavity. The tympanic cavity is filled with air. Then we have the ossicles. The ossicles are usually referred to as the hair bones. They are tiny bones that transmit vibrations from the eardrum. They carry the vibrations from the eardrum down to the inner hair. And the ossicles are the malleus, the incus, and the stapes. Then we also have, as part of the middle hair, we have the eustachian tube. The eustachian tube is a tube that connects the middle ear to the nasopharynx that helps to equalize the air pressure, that is, helps to stabilize the air pressure. The nasopharynx is at the back of the, is at the back or of the, maybe that particular place after the pharynx, that is very close to the air, at the back of the nose, at the back of the mouth. That is why in medicine, those that specializes in that area, they are usually referred to as ENT specialists, that is hair, nose, and hair, nose, and tongue, because there is a place where they are linked together. Now we now move to the next one, which is the inner ear. The inner ear contains the cochlea, which the cochlea looks like a snail. It has snail-shaped structure, that is, it is snail-shaped, and it contains certain receptors that are used for hearing. Then also in the inner ear we have the vestibules. The vestibules, they contain the receptors for balancing, that is, they contain the cells that helps in balancing the body. You see, sometimes you must have been playing, you move round, maybe in a circle, and you are able to stay. You just stay again. You're not going to feel dizzy, you're not going to fall. What is happening at that particular time is that the cochlea in your hair has been, the vestibules in your hair has been able to maintain balancing. Then we also have what we refer to as the semicircular canal. The semicircular canals are also used for balancing. They detect the rotational movement. That is, when you are having a rotational movement, the semicircular canals usually detect this and actually stabilize. So for balancing, we have the receptors, and we also have semicircular canals that are also helpful in maintaining balancing in the body. Now the next sense organ that we're going to look at here is skin. Skin is actually the most extensive organ in the body. That is the largest. That's why you look at your body, it moves from the head, or spreads from the head to the toes. So it's made up of 3 layers. We have the skin is made up of 3 layers. We have the epidermis, the dermis, and the hypodermis. The epidermis is the outermost, and because it's the outermost, it is protective. That is, it gives protection to the body. Then we have the epidermis contains cells that are referred to as keratinocytes. The keratinocytes produces what we refer to as keratin. The keratin provides or functions in providing strength to the skin. That is, it makes the skin to be tough, to be strengthened, to be strong. Let me put it that way. Then we also have in the epidermis, we also have the melanocytes. The melanocytes produce melanin. The melanin is responsible for skin color. That is, it gives the colors to the skin. Now we also have the Langerhans. The Langerhans are actually present in the epidermis to protect the skin from infections. So they are the ones that fight infections on the skin. So when all these things are perfect on the skin, naturally they continue to do their works. Now we have the next layer, which is the dermis. The dermis is the middle layer. It actually strengthens the skin. That is, it provides strength to the skin. It is made up of hair follicles. That is, the hair we see on our body comes in from, or has its origin from the dermis. Then we have the sweat gland, which is the gland that produces sweat. We have the sebaceous gland. The sebaceous gland produces lubricants or secretes lubricants for the hair, so that it is found at the base of the hair, so that we continue to lubricate the hair from the base. Then we have the connective tissues, especially, or for example, the collagen provides strength and flexibility to the skin. We also have blood vessels present in the dermis. They help to regulate the body temperature, and there's also dermis there. The dermis, they receive the sensations, that is, they receive information that needs to be passed to the brain, or needs to be received from the brain. Then the inner layer, that is the hypodermis. The hypodermis is also referred to as the subcutaneous layer. It contains adipose layer. This adipose layer is actually made up of fat, and the fat helps in regulating the body temperature. It actually provides insulation, that is, when the weather is too cold, sometimes heat will be generated from under the skin to regulate the body temperature. Now, the next one we shall look at again is that we need to also understand, before I move to the next one, we need to also understand that the tissues and organs, we have tissues and organs being protected by the subcutaneous layer, and it has it anchors the skin, that is, it anchors the skin to the underlying muscles and bones. That is, it's like it attaches the skin to underlying muscles and bones. Then the next one we have, that is the next sense organ that we have, is organ of taste, that is the tongue. The tongue is divided into, that is, the muscles of the tongue are divided into two. We have the intrinsic muscle and the extrinsic muscles. The intrinsic muscles are present within the tongue, while the eccentric muscles are present outside the tongue, trying to attach the tongue to the bones. Then the surface of the tongue contains the cells that are referred to as the papillae, and these papillae, they contain the papillae contains taste buds, that is, contains the buds that helps to detect taste. So they at the surface of the tongue, a part contains the cells that will detect sweetness. Another part contains cells that will detect sour taste. Another part contains cells that will detect bitter taste. That's how we have them on the surface of the tongue. Then the next one is a nose. The nose is also referred to as the olfactory organ, and when you touch it, you will see that it is cartilaginous. That is, it is hard, but it's not so hard. It is not like bones. It's actually carries out two main functions: to detect smells. It contains what we refer to as olfactory cells and olfactory nerves. When it collects it is open. So when hair carries things, or hair that has certain odor, when it enters the nose, the olfactory cells will help to detect the odor. So this will be carried or picked up by the nerve cells there, the olfactory nerves. This olfactory nerves will now carry this air and pass to the brain, and the brain will now interpret, giving the type of odor it is, and when it interprets it, it sends it back, and that is when we now say that, oh, I perceive something is burning, I perceive something has a sweet odor. That's when we can interpret it. So the nose is actually responsible for detecting smell or odor. Then we also have another function of the nose, and that function is the responsibility of, or it's being responsible for respiration. For the process of respiration in mammals, the air that contains oxygen to enter the body, it enters through the nose. or through, our nasal passage. And like we mentioned the other time, explain the respiration and the respiratory system. When the air carrying oxygen, when it enters the nose, it passes through down, to the respiratory system. So those are the sense organs that we're looking at briefly, and you can as well read more of these ones so that you'll be able to catch it and understand more. Thank you.